If you're expecting me to trash talk my peers or drag anyone's art,
you came to the wrong neighborhood.
But if you're here to let a random internet weirdo tell you how and where to spend your money, you're in the right place. But seriously, if you're feeling pressure, anxiousness about the coming year, especially with the whole, COVID situation, hopefully this can help you. So, do not apply to art school and wait a term if, number one, without knowing for sure. You're probably watching this like,
well, no dirt.
But you'll be surprised at how many of my peers actually don't know what they were signing up for just because it sounded right. And now many of them are left reapplying with a whole new portfolio to do and waiting another year because they applied to the program that didn't actually align with their end goal. That is detrimental for you and someone else. Because imagine spending, in our case, $23,000 just for one semester, taking out loans no less, and finding out you don't like it and it's not for you. Art school is expensive. Know what you want. It also takes a seat away from someone who really did know what they wanted, and now they got squeezed out by the limiting cap, which really sucks. Number 2, do not apply if you hate the major component of the program. For example, going into animation if you hate animating, or going into concept art if you hate designing things, or drawing the same chair, 32 different times in a row. Not only are people not getting enough information to pick the right major for them, but part of that is because people are applying and getting in and finding out then,
hey, I hate animating,
and would have been better off in illustration or concept. Don't do this to yourself. You do not want to spend $46,000 for 1 year to get into an animation class and find out you actually really hate animating. That is debt and time you cannot get back. Our school especially is very collaboration based, so on all of its animation projects you will most likely have a bad time and create a bad environment for your group mates too, which will just make you miserable, it'll make your small class miserable, everyone's just miserable. And remember those thousands of dollars in loans that you got? Well, you have to pay that back now for an experience you didn't even enjoy, and that really sucks. Number 3, do not apply if rejection would kill your drive. Spare yourself the extra dosage in crippling depression. It doesn't mean your art is bad, you are worthy, you just aren't what they're looking for in terms of artistic expression. And I learned to see it like this. If you like someone but they aren't into you like that back, are you going to stop existing and doing what you're doing because they aren't interested in you? I hope you said no. Please say no. Rejection sucks, and you should absolutely process those emotions. But if you're like me, there's a lot of pressure for you to jumpstart your life and your career and be perfect and blah blah blah. Well, take a break. Apply next year. Mental health and learning balance is so much more important, I promise you. The cool thing about life is that your goal will always be there waiting when you're up to chasing it again, so don't even worry about it. Number 4. Do not apply if you have a hard time sitting through critique. This kind of ties into the rejection point, but this is not like the random advice from random internet weirdos offering their personal, often unhelpful 2 cents. The truth is, art school's core operation is through critiques. That means you will have mandatory class critiques, however often your school or class, but if you're someone who really takes things like that to heart, this is not a healthy environment. If you're someone who suffers from perfectionism or low self-esteem or depression, this is probably not a healthy environment for you either. Art schools are rigorous, and many of them in which are infamous for being so. It can really crush you in your art spirit if you aren't capable of filtering that experience. I've personally seen peers break down and consider quitting art over comments that are both either helpful or entirely unhelpful, and that is just really terrible. There are people out there who are waiting to see your work, and if you stop now, you rob them of that coolness that only you can give. Do yourself and your fans a favor. Don't do it. Number 5. Do not apply to art school if you do not do well in all online classes. You should know for sure that they are online before even considering, really. COVID has really thrown a wrench in the whole art student thing, and none of the schools are lowering their tuition at all, and probably won't ever because art schools are private, and therefore really don't care about how broke we are. More importantly, COVID has forced us all to take online classes, and if you find yourself focusing on the Zoom background, or maybe your professor's messy house instead of their lecture, defer a reapply. $40,000 plus a year is just not worth trying to count the thousands of icons on your professor's desktop before they open up the PowerPoint. Also, now because of COVID, there's an extra cost for supplies that you have to get for Zoom. You need a camera on your face and then one on your hands for while you're drawing, so that's a sucky bonus. It's totally okay to wait, just spare yourself the stress. Number 6, do not apply to art school if you just want to flex about art school. Your future employers really don't care where you went. Your online friends who are in STEM classes, already done with school, probably don't care where you're going either. Truthfully, no one really cares. They just really care about your art. Unless you got into Cal Arts, then people will pretend to care just to get advice out of you, and maybe your mom will hang your acceptance letter on the fridge for like a month, which is cool. Mine didn't, so maybe I'm just biased from seething jealousy. Number 7, do not apply to art school if you are going to end up with serious debt. In fact, keep reapplying to art school if you or your parents cannot afford it. Aim for scholarships. If you don't get a sufficient scholarship, or maybe none at all, contact financial aid or reapply for next year. Art school costs serious money. Loans are serious business. Do not ruin your new adult life with extreme stress and payments. I mean, I know artists are masochists, but passion is not worth ruining your life. Passion can easily turn into hate anytime. And let's be honest, Professor Oak does not want that for you. If you live in South California, you are one lucky baby because there are many alternatives that I know of. CDA is one of them. The Concept Design Academy, or CDA, is much more focused and therefore much more cost effective. You can get much better classes, much more focused, at a much more, responsible price. The FOMO of sleepless nights and using a Cintiq will pass. State schools are also a really awesome option. Laura Price went to a state school. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Mike Sheriff went to a state school. Grace Liu, Rargyle, didn't go to school at all. Ariel VH or Hugbees didn't go to art school either. You do not have to go to art school to work in art, especially if you already live in the US, so that's amazing. International students, I really recommend looking at state schools because that will probably make your transition out here much easier too. Number 8, do not apply to art school if you're not willing to be yourself. As any professional artist will tell you, do not submit a portfolio of work that you are not interested in doing 5 to 6 days a week for 40 plus hours a week. School works the same way. This kind of ties into the rejection point, but this is ultimately about being honest with your interests, yourself, in the face of choices. You are so much more likely to get accepted if you're upfront about your interests and who you are, rather than copying someone else's accepted portfolio and personality. Art schools want to see your personality. Why would they want Alex Hirsch too, or Ethan Becker too, or Ross Tran too? They already exist, and they're cool, and they're killing it as their authentic selves. You can't be them. God, do I wish I was, but you just can't. And we look messy trying. Just be yourself. Choose yourself. You are good enough. If you want to make your own cartoon someday, you are going to have to put yourself into it. If you want to stand out as an artist, you are going to have to put yourself into it. Do yourself a favor and put your work out there, your real work. It's totally okay to draw however the hell you want, as long as you understand and are willing to understand fundamentals too. Mark my words, if you apply under the guise of work that's not interested or natural to you, you will burn out, and you may not recover. Ever. I am speaking, unfortunately, from experience. Believe in yourself and what you can do, because if my simpleton ass can do it, and hundreds of other perfectly regular kids from all over the globe can do it, you can do it too. This isn't My Hero Academia. We're all quirkless here. We're all Deku trying to live out our little shonen best hero dreams. Have fun and just do you. So, if this video didn't scare you away from your lifelong dream of going to art school and making pretty pictures or cartoons or whatever else, then congrats, you're ready. Yay! Go apply to things and go kick some serious art butt. I'm hoping to use this channel to share more insight on art school from real-time lens, because it seems like every week our Twitter has like a discourse about it, about art school bad and self-taught good. And Lord knows I really struggled with making decisions when I was first starting out. Hopefully I can maybe help someone get through the fog a little unscathed, at least slightly, maybe. And hopefully maybe you can figure out whether art school is useful for you or not through these videos. Life is an experience, and I really hope that everybody who is hopeful about animation can fulfill it any way they wish. Good luck! If you have any further questions, feel free to ask, and I'll definitely get back to you as soon as I can.